Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
Matterhorn Matt presents Matterhorn Mondays.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 80. Dang, episode 80. That's pretty cool. Episode 80 of Matterhorn Mondays. I'm your host, Matterhorn Matt.
And I'm Alex the Historian.
And today...
Just hand you the hand.
And today we are joined by Eric. If you guys watch Alex's vlogs, you'll know who Eric is. But in case you don't watch Alex's vlogs, which if you don't watch Alex's vlogs, what are you doing? My mic is blocking my face, but yeah, so Eric, why don't you take a couple minutes and go ahead and explain to the audience who you are, I guess, how you know Alex. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Hey, everybody. Handy, get out of here. What? I want to be known. No, get out of here. You're stupid. Get out. Get out. Hello, everybody. If you don't know, my name is Eric. I am a sort of popular Disney YouTuber. I go to Disneyland with Alex very often. He's one of the greatest people ever to exist. And so one day I was on his channel and I said, hey, do you go to Disneyland? And obviously he does. And so we decided to meet one day. I didn't see him for an hour when I got to the park, and he told me to meet him at the station, and he wasn't there. So I thought, what do? Do I wait here, or do I just go throughout my day? And so I decided to leave. I was waiting in a line next to the train station to go get something, and I saw a fancy fedora at the train station, and I thought, what do? Do I stay here in this line, or do I go and risk it and see if that's Alex? And so after thinking about it for a minute, I decided, you know what, life is full of risks. I'm gonna go and risk it. And so I went up, and what do you know, I met the legendary Alex the Historian, and we've been friends ever since.
The legendary Alex the Historian, yeah.
That was a big risk too, because he was waiting in line at City Hall, and you all know how long that line is.
Yes.
Yeah, Eric was supposed to come to... He was supposed to meet up with us at some point last December during my trip, but sadly he couldn't come. Next time, hopefully, all three of us can... 1, 2, 3, yeah, all three of us. I thought there was 4 of us here for some reason. But maybe all 3 of us can get together, experience Disneyland as a trio. That'd be amazing. But yeah, this is Eric. His channel will be linked down in the description below for all of you wonderful people. How are you guys doing today? It's tomorrow, St. Patrick's Day. Tomorrow
it's St. Patrick's Day already?
Yeah, I thought St. Patrick's Day was in February for some reason. I thought I missed it.
Yeah, but, me too. I don't know why I thought that.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, tomorrow being today is Saturday during the recording, and if you guys have not experienced Matterhorn Mondays live, you should definitely head over to my second channel. I just realized I've been saying that the link to my second channel is in the description every time I do this intro, but it hasn't been in the description. From now on, I'm going to go back into as many of the previous episodes as I can and add the link in the description for you guys. But yeah, my second channel is called Matterhorn Matt Streams. That is where this podcast is hosted every Saturday night at 5 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time. Yeah, I don't know what that is in like Pacific time, but 5 p.m.
4 p.m.
4 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Thank you, Alex. Oh, we have a birthday. We have a birthday. If you guys would like to be wished a happy birthday live on the podcast, you can follow the link in the description down below. Just fill out a simple Google Doc, or if you're watching live, you can do !birthday. It'll take you directly to the link. Today, the 16th, being, like I said, the day that this is recorded. Happy birthday to Charlie. We don't have an age for Charlie, but maybe he wanted to keep that private. So happy birthday to you, Charlie, and I can't X off of this. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's gonna wrap up all those announcements. Before we get into, well, I do have a very special segment of Matt Snaps today for you guys. I'm still contemplating the name Matt Snaps. If you guys can come up with a better name in the chat or in the description, I'd really appreciate it. But I've been holding off on telling everybody on the stream until Snapple pulled through. But I did post. I guess I'll start with the backstory. So a while ago I posted a picture on my Instagram, I guess of me holding a bottle of Snapple. It's just like my hand holding the Snapple bottle, and I think the caption said, "I have an undying love for Snapple." That was almost like a year ago at this point. And recently, I want to say like a month ago, Snapple commented on the picture, told me to DM them on Instagram, yeah, that's basically where the story started. They said that they would send me some sort of merchandise for to help. I don't know. It was very confusing the way they worded it, but yeah, I guess I'll just go ahead and showcase what they sent me. As you guys probably notice, I'm not wearing the normal what is it called, cast member T-shirt that my mods bought me on the Discord. This is one of the things that they sent. You can maybe see it. There's this. I'll stand up a bit. I'll get on my knees. You can see the Snapple logo right there, and if I turn around, I don't think I'll be able to turn around with my headphones on, but if I turn around, it has my last name on the back, and I think this is all of the flavors. If you guys can hear me, I think this is all of the flavors of Snapple. Can you guys see that? I'm trying to. It's very awkward. This is really uncomfortable. But yeah, and they also sent a bigger box of goodies as well. They sent a Snapple fanny pack, which is pretty rad. I'm gonna be wearing this whenever I go to the parks. I'll be repping that Snapple swag. Here, I put everything back in the box as neatly as I could, so I could do like sort of an unboxing with you guys. But if I can open it. Okay, so they sent me pens as well. I guess they're just like standard pens. I don't think I'll ever use them. Maybe I'll frame them. I don't know. It says Snapple, apple, peach tea, watermelon, lemonade. And I think this is a car decal. I'm not really sure. It doesn't look like a temporary tattoo. It could just be a normal sticker. If you guys know, because I don't want to like slap it on my truck with it like not being a car decal. But yeah, so basically, I guess what they wanted me to do is to take pictures of myself wearing all this stuff, post it to Instagram and Twitter using the hashtag SnappleFan, and it says, I don't know, I can't find where it said it. It said that they might use it in some promotional stuff. I don't know. And then they called it a quote-unquote perfect Snapple bottle. Kiwi strawberry. I'm never gonna open this. I'm definitely gonna frame. I'm definitely gonna frame this. It doesn't have like a UPC code or anything. It's just like a really clean-looking label, which is really awesome. Yeah, if you guys are not fans of Snapple, I apologize. Yeah, I apologize. For going on for so long about this, but they also sent me this note. I won't read it, but you guys can like see. It says Snapple. Yeah.
See, you guys can clearly tell how much Matt loves Snapple.
Yeah, I am in love with Snapple, you guys. If you couldn't tell.
Sounds a little bit like Winnie the Pooh's honey obsession to me.
I think I love Snapple more than Winnie the Pooh loves Snapple. Or more than wait. I think I love Snapple more than Winnie the Pooh loves honey. But yeah, someone said if it's a car decal, it's backwards. This isn't backwards. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But yeah, I just figured you guys would like to see that. They're not sponsoring my channel, sadly. That'd be really cool if they would, if Snapple's watching, hey, sponsor Matterhorn Mondays. That would be awesome. Snapple shills for life, I know. Yeah.
For the decal, if I was you, I'd put it on the window because it's a lot easier to get a decal off a window than than directly off the surface of your car without damaging your car. Sometimes it depends on how dumb you are.
I mean, yeah, it does. It varies day to day. But yeah, I just figured you guys would like to see that. I'm gonna take some pictures with it. My friend is probably gonna, I guess we'll have like a little photo shoot. I'll post them on my Instagram and Twitter sometime this week. But until then, I do have a different bottle. This is peach tea. It's plastic. The other one was glass. But yeah, so we'll get into the normal ritual here for all you ASMR fans. And the fact for today, real fact number 48, cats can hear ultrasound. Interesting. I did not know that cats could hear ultrasound, but let me pour this in here and put the cap on.
Dogs are actually extremely intelligent from what I can tell. I mean, my neighbor has dogs and they just make a V line for me. And one of them he got about maybe 2 months ago, and she's grown to 5 times her size when she was a baby. And originally about a month after my neighbor got her, she was small enough to cradle in my neighbor's arms. Now she's almost as tall as me when she's standing on her 2 hind legs.
Oh, I thought you were going to say when she was on her 4 legs, she was almost as tall as you. That would be...
No.
That'd be crazy.
But right now is approaching 15 years old, I think, and she loves me. Every time she sees me, she makes a V line for me and sits down in front of me, and she stares at me, and I just can't help but pet her. And then the new one comes over and just barrels into my chest.
I want to get a dog eventually. One
day you'll get a dog.
One day, yeah. I want to get a corgi. I feel like those are the cutest kinds of dogs, or maybe even a husky. But I've heard huskies are really expensive. I probably wouldn't be able to take care of a dog, to be completely honest. So I'll probably put that idea on the back burner.
We'll get you a plush dog.
That'll be just perfect enough, fine enough with me. T. Will said, "Welcome to a Disney Parks podcast, where we talk about shilling for Snapple." Yeah, boy. He said he's just kidding, but yeah, it's almost kind of true. I don't know. Snapple, it's a great drink, you guys. If you haven't drunk, again, not sponsored. If you guys have not tasted the sweet, sweet nectar that is Snapple, please go out and try some. I recommend either regular peach or my personal favorite is mango. So yeah, just keep that in mind.
Anything, in my opinion, that has cherry or strawberry in it is something I like. Anything else, no thank you.
I think they have a strawberry. I don't know. I can't read the back of my shirt, which has all the flavors. If I could, I'd tell you if they had. But I can't bend my head all the way back. But yeah, it's gonna be a great show today, you guys. We got some really amazing topics. A lot. I guess I should preface this again by saying it's been a slow news week, you guys. Not a lot happened. Although we will be touching for our main topics on Galaxy's Edge and also the future of Star Tours. But before we get into all of that, let's get right into this week's news from the Peak.
We now present to you news from the Peak.
I really wish we could hear that, because it's always so awkward when it's just silence. You guys can hear it, yeah, but we can't hear it for some reason.
I can't hear anything. It's like awkward silence. Like you just sit there and you stare off into space and you're like, yeah, this is happening.
That's how I feel all the time.
Yeah, to be completely honest, me too. Some guy said, Matt, try the Snapple lemon tea. You have not truly lived until you've had it. I'm not a fan of lemon, but I'll give it a try since it's Snapple. I'll update you guys. Maybe this week I'll try it, and I'll let you guys know how I feel about it. But for our first bit of news from the peak, this is huge news, you guys. This is amazing news. I'm very happy with this news. I think so. I don't know. I think a lot of you guys may be happy with this as well, or some of you could be very upset. We'll get into why you might be upset in a bit, but James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, has been rehired by Disney to direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which is a very surprising turn of events from what we've seen happen these past couple months since he got fired. James Gunn was originally fired in July of 2018 after old offensive tweets were resurfaced online. I remember the exact moment I found out James Gunn was fired. I was with Mark, and I think I was with Chris as well, writing It's a Small World, and I looked over to the right at Mark's phone, and I could see the headline, and I was like, wait, am I dreaming? But I was not dreaming, sadly, guys. Since he was fired, the entire cast of Guardians of the Galaxy have come out in support of the director, even going as far as signing a petition. I'm sure you guys have seen the image of all the statement that was released by the entire cast. It was signed by, I believe, pretty much every member of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. After that, Marvel put Guardians of the Galaxy 3 on hold, and it was supposed to be released in 2020, I believe. I don't think there was a concrete date set for the release date, but the rumored date was 2020. James Gunn then recently moved on to Warner Brothers to direct the sequel to Suicide Squad, a DC film, which is set to release August 6th of 2021. And yeah, just I believe it was yesterday, I think. Was it yesterday? It was yesterday, which was a Friday, for those of you guys not watching live, where they broke the news that James Gunn would be coming back to the project. When the news broke, Gunn issued a statement on Twitter saying, quote, "I am tremendously grateful to every person out there who has supported me over the past few months. I am always learning and will continue to work at being the best human being I can be. I deeply appreciate Disney's decision, and I am excited to continue making films that investigate the ties of love that bind us all. I have been and continue to be incredibly humbled by your love and support. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Love to you all," unquote. That is what he tweeted when the news officially broke. But yeah, I am very pleased with this news. I'm sure you guys remember a few months ago, I was very upset when Disney did let James Gunn go from directing Guardians of the Galaxy 3, because Guardians of the Galaxy is one of my favorite Marvel franchises. And just, I don't think the third one would be the same without James Gunn directing. But there is sort of like I don't know, it's sort of a double-edged sword, because Disney did make a really big statement when they fired James Gunn, even though the tweets that he got fired for were from, I don't know, like 4 or even 5 years ago.
It was like 2008, so it was like 10 years.
10 years? It's been 10 years. Yeah, go ahead, Eric.
I feel like everything is better when the creator is around. Like, he's the driving force behind everything. I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of like when the founder of something is around, it's good up until that person either resigns or passes away. It's the same thing that kind of goes on with, I mean, think about it. Everything up until 2000 was good for pretty much everything. And now we get a bunch of cheap plastic stuff. I mean, if you think about it, then what would happen to everything in Disney if Walt had lived just a couple more years, or maybe over a decade?
Yeah, really, really great. Yeah,
just awkward silence. And following that, I know you've probably seen this before, but the news of the creator of SpongeBob, Steven Hillenburg, passing away, it hit me right in the feet. And I feel like everything with its creator still around is good, but everything without its creator is you don't want to know.
Here, here.
Yeah, no. Eric does make some really great points, but
Why, thank you, good sir.
I forgot what I was going to say, but I guess, Alex, what are your thoughts on James Gunn being reinstated by Disney after his firing almost, I don't want to count the months, how many months it was, about his firing in July of 2018?
Well, I have to say, I myself have never watched any of those movies. I think a lot of people here know that I'm not much of like a superhero, like super action adventure kind of like person, but I will say that it seems that everybody really loved the movies that he made, the two Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and so I think that with all these fans who really wanted to see the third installment created by him, I think it was definitely a good victory for them, and that it's amazing to see all these people that came together in order to bring him back.
Yeah, 100% agreed. Eric, what are your thoughts on James Gunn being reinstated for Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
Well, like Alex, I've never seen any of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, but I am into superheroes, though. Yeah, I don't get out much. So I think that because Alex was telling me about claims being made about him, so I think there is some truth behind some of these things that went on Twitter. I don't have Twitter, so what do I know? So I guess maybe having the founder around because he made those movies, I feel like it goes back to that point that I made that everything is better with the founder around. So I don't know, maybe with 3, I think with Mr. Gunn back as the director, I think he can fix some of the problems that probably came about while he was fired.
Yeah, all right.
So maybe before he was out, maybe there were some problems that came around with the story, but then once he came back, maybe he can fix those problems and make it better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really great points made by both of you guys. T-Will and Leonardus, I'm really sorry if you guys know, I can't pronounce words. They're saying that Disney never really fired James Gunn, that it was more of a PR thing. I don't know, that could be true. I haven't looked into this as much as just reading a lot of the articles that were published the past couple days, but if there is any truth to that, I'd love to see. But yeah, I just think it's really interesting that Disney went back on their stance because, like I said, they did make their stance pretty clear when they fired James Gunn that they weren't going to have any tolerance for that kind of, I guess, that kind of Twitter behavior, even though that, like Alex said, the tweets were from 10 years ago. It's just very interesting to see Disney going back on what they said. Yeah, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the chat and in the comments down below because, you know, this is a very hot topic at the moment. I love Marvel films. I love Guardians of the Galaxy.
Maybe they thought it was a good idea at the time, but then realizing their mistake, they decided to bring him back. Maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, you know, I feel like might be what happened as well because there's really no one else to replace James Gunn who has that sort of specific vision of the way his films can be made. And maybe I don't know, maybe they sort of panicked and, you know, like I said, realized that only he could make that movie. I don't know. I guess we'll see in the future if he stays with Marvel to direct a 4th Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know, but yeah, I would love to hear more information on what you guys are saying in chat about it being just a PR thing. If you guys have any I don't know, links to any articles or anything, link them. I'll read them, and I'm sure the people in the chat and in the comments would be interested as well. But moving on to our second bit of news from the peak. New trailers were released for Avengers Endgame and the live-action remake of Aladdin this past week. I'm sure you guys have all seen the Avengers Endgame trailer already, but I want to talk about, just briefly, the new Aladdin trailer, because up until this point, the trailers that we've gotten for the Aladdin remake have just been teaser trailers. The one that they released this past week was a full-length official trailer, and I'm sure if you guys go back a couple episodes, or if you've been listening to this show for the past couple weeks, you'll know Alex and I, not the biggest fans when it comes to the Aladdin live-action remake, but I think with this new trailer, I don't know, to me it seems like it's a completely different movie, because with the first teaser trailers that were released, it did not look like a very good movie. I mean, of course, you can have, a studio can release a bad trailer now and then that doesn't correctly, describe what the movie's going to be like. But I feel like with this trailer, they really hit the nail on the head. Maybe if they release another good trailer, I'll see the movie in theaters. I don't know. They should be grateful if they could get me to see this movie in theaters, because I was gonna say I've been on the fence about this movie, but I've not been on the fence about this movie. I've flat out petitioned. Well, I guess not. I haven't gone that far, but I've been very against this live action Aladdin remake, just because of, like I said, just because of all the trailers that they've released, the teasers. They just haven't looked very good, and yeah, Alex, what are your thoughts on the new trailer for the live-action Aladdin remake?
I'm coming.
Well, as you all probably know, I'm a very opinionated person. And
That.
I never... Okay, when they first even announced making a Aladdin movie, I was never really into it. I didn't really think it was necessary, just like all live action remakes they've been doing lately. I just feel like it's unnecessary. But what's funny is, while Matt may be changing his tune, I, however, no, I feel like even more against the movie now that I see this new trailer. Yeah, I mean, like, because, and it's not for the reason that everyone else is giving for them being against it, because there's a lot of controversy right now going on about this new trailer. And
is there?
Oh, yeah, basically, like, right now, like, one of the biggest controversies, at least I've noticed from people, is that a lot of people are claiming that while the Aladdin story takes place in the Arab nation or area, I'm sorry, I don't know if it's a nation or an area, but anyway, Arabia. There you go. I'm dumb. I'm sorry, you guys. I'll just admit that I'm dumb. I don't know much about geography, but anyway, while the movie's culture is supposed to be Arabian, a lot of people believe that it's actually like super heavily influenced by like Indian style and culture. And so a lot of people are like really upset at that, because they're claiming that Disney doesn't know the difference between Arabs and Indians. And so that, I myself am not a expert at that, but if that's the case, then that might be a problem for them. But anyway, that's the problem that other people have with this movie. The problem I have with the movie is that it looks like really silly. It doesn't look like a movie that I would see. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I kind of didn't like that. Like in this trailer, there's a scene where they kind of make a joke about the genie making a prince for Aladdin. And I kind of thought like, wow, that's kind of like borderline offensive. Not quite, but, you know, so I don't know. But anyway, when it comes to just the fact that it's a remake itself, I feel it's unnecessary. And oh, one more thing. I don't know that I think the humor is really all that funny anyway. I don't know. It doesn't make me laugh. It's like still like, I don't know. I once talked about like modern movie humor, and I don't know.
It's 2019.
Is it? Oh my goodness. So many years have gone by.
Things are different from the humor that was back in the day, for when the original Aladdin was made.
Yeah, that's true.
Besides, they don't have Robin Williams there anymore.
Yeah, I feel like that's one big thing. That's the main thing that's going to keep a lot of people from watching this movie, because I do remember I read this quote for you guys a few months ago, at least I think, about how Will Smith was going to put like a hip hop spin on the genie, and because he said something. I think his exact quote was, "There's not enough hip hop in modern Disney movies, or like in any Disney movies," I believe is what he said, and that was. I don't know. That got the gears in my head turning, trying to wonder what that could mean.
It means it's not flashy enough for people. Like there's not enough disco balls or anything. I mean, if it doesn't have anything that we're used to, like nightclubs or something like that, then they ain't gonna see it. They're just. I mean, if it's not bright and moving, then we ain't gonna see it.
Yeah, that is.
It's like cartoon that I saw from this YouTube channel. They think that as long as they think that people are dumb, and if it's moving, then they'll be in it. And so I have some truth for that, Hollywood. The cartoons don't have to move, but you need to write a likable storyline and characters that actually make sense.
Yeah, I've been saying that for a long time too.
Wise words to all you.
Genius.
Wise words to all you Hollywood directors out there from Eric.
Actually, no, that's from. That's not from me. That's from this YouTube channel I just remembered called the Odd Ones Out, and he argued about weird movies that he watched as a kid.
I think I've seen him, but okay. Well, wise words from that YouTube channel coming to us from Eric, but
my mouth.
From Eric's mouth. I feel like we could have a whole separate topic for a separate day, maybe with Jeremy, about how we feel about all these live action remakes, because I don't think we've done like a dedicated like 45-minute topic about these live action remakes just yet. So stay tuned for that.
Personally,
maybe we'll do that.
Personally, I think I think that they're cutting corners a lot for some reason. I don't know why, but it just doesn't seem the same as when it was when I was a kid, when I first saw these movies. I mean, CGI is good and all, but it just feels weird, doesn't it? Because there's things missing or something like that. Doesn't it feel like that?
It seems like it doesn't have its own personality. It seems like it's just copying and pasting a personality from the original movie, but then just using a different artist to draw it up, you know?
It's not the same as it was when they were first made.
Yeah, I totally agree. Caleb said Will Smith is less than Robin Williams is greater than Will Smith. Change my mind. I don't have to change your mind because that is true. But moving on to our third and last bit of news from the peak. This comes to us from Alex, the historian himself, you guys. He brought this to my attention.
Totally.
Legend himself. The one and only. The guy who... just to get here.
The guy who redefined Disney from the ground up.
It's true.
Oh my gosh. Alex sent me this image. He texted me this image yesterday, the day before. Sometime last week he texted me this image.
It was yesterday.
It was yesterday. Yesterday being Friday for all you non-stream watchers. He texted me this image yesterday saying that Disney is testing... Is that blue or green? That's green.
That's the green milk.
Okay, well, I wrote blue, so I'm completely wrong. Disney is testing the green milk at the Red Rose Tavern. And Alex, since you brought this information straight from Disneyland itself, why don't you go ahead and explain? Or if you have any other information to add, now is the time.
Well, so here I was getting breakfast at Red Rose Tavern yesterday, and I usually go there in the mornings to have my breakfast. And so the reason why I mentioned that is because I know what the counters look like. I know what's on the counters every morning because when I go there, I see it. So I know what's different. And so I'm waiting for my food, and I look over to my left, and they have these juice cooler
Dispensers.
What?
Dispensers.
Right.
I think that's what they are.
Yeah, and they keep the juice really cold, like almost frozen. And they use those like sometimes for Gaston's Brew, which is a drink that they have there. But anyway, I looked over, and inside of them was not Gaston's Brew or the other drink that they have. This stuff was milky green. And so I walked over, and I was like, wait a minute, I know what that is. And the reason why I know what that is because I used to work as a cook, and I happen to know that when Disney wants to test new food items for another land or another restaurant that's coming up, they use other restaurants in the park to test those things. It just so happens that the closest and largest operating kitchen to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is at Red Rose Tavern. So they have enough equipment and storage space at Red Rose Tavern to cook up all the menu items for testing at Galaxy's Edge. And it only makes sense that the drinks would be tested here too. Again, this stuff is not for sale yet. So this green milk that I saw is not for sale at Red Rose Tavern. I just saw them testing it in the machine. The cooks or the people in charge of creating the green milk are probably taste testing it, seeing how long it'll last in the machine. If it, maybe after so many hours in the machine, it starts to taste different. So it was just sitting there in that machine. And so they're probably seeing how long the milk can sit in. It's not real milk. It's like a berry drink that is non-dairy. Mm-hmm. So it's not like it's going to go bad. But sometimes when you leave something sitting for a while, it doesn't taste as good as it did when you first mixed it up. So anyway, I just thought that was really interesting, and I wanted to share it with you guys. I took a picture of it as best I could. It's going to be featured on my vlog, which will be published on Monday on my channel. So, and it will be in 4K HD, 60 frames per second.
The ultimate resolution.
Yes.
But wait a minute, Alex, you said that the milk is not for sale?
That's right. Yeah, it's not for sale. They're just testing it out, probably because the people who are in charge of making the recipe just want to test it out, taste test it, adjust the flavors, that kind of thing.
What's it there for? Oh, wait.
Alex, you should have slid her a 5, be like, hey.
When you said slid that lady, I thought like you meant like trip her or something. I was like, oh my gosh, why would I trip this poor lady?
I mean, you could do that as well,
actually,
but...
It's funny you say that because I seriously did think about that for a moment when I was standing there. I was like, I wonder what happens if I just like gave this lady like a $10 bill and just see if she would pour me a little glass of it or something. But
I totally would if I were her.
And for some of that stuff, yeah, thanks.
I feel like a drug deal for green milk. Oh my god. I did read on Twitter that Alex said that it's not actual milk. I did read, I don't know if it's either blue milk or green milk. One of them is gonna be soy milk. Again, I don't know which it is.
Soy milk.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of regular milk as it is. Well, I've never had soy milk either. So
what we know so far is that both the blue and the green milk are completely non-dairy. So we don't know what they're made of yet, unless someone has said that they're made of, maybe they are made of soy milk. Not quite sure, but But what we do know for sure that is in concrete is that they're non-dairy. That way, pretty much anyone can drink it without having like any like. Because I myself am a little bit lactose intolerant. It just that's kind of funny because like sometimes I am and sometimes I'm not. So my body can't decide whether I'm lactose intolerant or not. But yeah, so it's all non-dairy. Oh, but T-Well, I know it does. I know it sounds weird like non-dairy, but it's not supposed to taste like milk. It's supposed to be like a berry drink. So I'm in my head, I'm thinking it's gonna be like a berry flavored horchata. So that's what it sounds like to me. Yeah.
I've never had a horchata before. I guess there's a first time for everything. But yeah, thank you to Alex for giving us this information. This is straight from Disneyland, you guys. Straight from Alex, a historian. No one else has this information because it came straight from Alex himself. So thank you, Mr. Alex, a historian, for bringing us that. It's already been 40 minutes, you guys. What is happening? And we just finished news from the peak, you guys. What is going on?
That's never happened before.
This is the longest news from the peak in the entire world. All right, moving on. There is this lovely image that Alex texted me the other day. He was with Steve in the parks, I believe, and yeah. If you would like any further proof that Disney is filling their food with cabbage, here it is. This is not edited in any way.
Oh no, not at all. That is straight from the restaurant. You know, it's their new replacement dishes at what's that restaurant? Rancho del Zocalo. Yes, the new dishes we have here. We have a cabbage head entree with triple cabbage dessert, as well as a cabbage soda.
A cabbage cola, if you will.
Yes, cabbage cola.
But I believe
So
it's the... Oh, go ahead, Eric.
When they say, okay, when they say a head of cabbage, they literally mean it.
Yeah, because that cabbage
Head
is bigger
right
than Alex's head. Do we have a cabbage emote in Discord? No, well, I'll add. Maybe I'll add this as an emote, or maybe just like the big cabbage itself. I think I've seen this before. With the big cabbage, you're supposed to crack it open like an egg, and then inside is more cabbage-filled foods. Was that how your experience was, Alex, when you got it?
Yes, indeed. They give you this special tool, and you have to tap on the edges of the cabbage, and it cracks open like an egg. And inside is a nice cabbage slaw with a side of cabbage dressing and some cabbage bits to top it off.
Thank you, Alex. This is amazing. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Steve captured this image of my cabbage for me, so you can thank Steve for this.
Steve is not here in the chat currently. Normally he's here. Yeah, I guess
I think he's
not.
really tired because he drove all the way from north of San Luis Obispo, California, all the way down. It was like a 4 or 5 hour drive to Disneyland, and then at the end of the day he drove all the way back up, so he's probably tired.
Okay, well, Steve,
So
if you're
sorry for
listening,
him.
yeah, so sorry for Steve. If you're listening, thank you for capturing this amazing image and for helping us prove that Disney is infesting their food with cabbage. But before we move on, John P.
Cabbage
Hazelton,
revolution.
John P. Hazelton said it's his first time watching live. I forgot to read that. So welcome to John P. Hazelton. That was at 5:13 p.m. It's currently 5:46 p.m. Oh, wow. Time sure does fly, you guys. But anyways, getting into our main topics for today. We're going to be talking about a video that was brought to my attention by Freddie, who is here in the chat with us. A video by Fresh Baked, of all people. I know we've talked about Fresh Baked in the past. I love Fresh Baked. As much flack as Fresh Baked gets, I do really love their channel because they were one of the first channels to help me, to introduce me to all this Disney history kind of stuff with their weekly vlog series that they did in the parks. So yeah, I have Fresh Baked to thank for, I guess, turning me into the monster that I am today. But like I said, this video was brought to my attention by Freddie. I guess I'll sort of detail what Dave says in the video. So as you guys know, Galaxy's Edge is opening May 31st in Disneyland without their star e-ticket attraction, Rise of the Resistance. And basically the question Dave was asking is, why is Galaxy's Edge opening so early? Because I believe all the rumors that him and all the other rumor people in the community were all pointing to sort of like I guess end of June or July. I get the 2 months confused, but yeah. So he's basically, like I said, asking the question: why is Galaxy's Edge opening so early? And the rumor that he went on to talk about is that Rise of the Resistance is behind schedule and could possibly be quote unquote unrideable, and that the Imagineers don't know how to fix it. Alleged issue is with the shortcomings of the ride's trackless features. And I'll link the video in the description for you guys because, you know, Dave can explain his words better than I can. But yeah, so I guess we can sort of get into a discussion about this, because this is one of the main things that was, I guess, one of the main things that's been on my mind since they announced the May 31st opening of Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland without Rise of the Resistance. So yeah, Alex watched this video, I'm pretty sure. But what are your thoughts on Mr. Dave here?
I think actually he's probably hit the nail on the head with this, kind of. Well, maybe. We don't know for sure. But I think it's like, decide, Alex. Has he or hasn't he? But yeah, I think I do recall on a podcast here, I did say several months ago, maybe even almost a year ago, that I do feel that the whole idea of how they were designing and building this ride sounded like it was going to be problematic. I do remember saying that. I mean, maybe it might be a false memory, but either way, it's a memory. and so I don't know. I just kind of felt like at the time, and even right now, I still feel like the fact that, okay, trackless is awesome. It's great on paper because it's like, oh wow, you know, it's not on a guided track, you can do anything. But it's like, not really. It's already pre-programmed to go on a certain route. I mean, you're technically a track is a route. The only difference is that, you know, it's not directly rooted down into the ground with something. So, but anyway, the problem I foresaw with it was that it's like having like a dozen or 24 computers all trying to synchronize with a ballet at once. It's just kind of like, you know, like these rides are programmed, but they're programmed to interact with each other like a dance. And so you just have all these computers, and they're all separate, relying on each other to coordinate this whole ride and get, they said, around what, like 3,000 people per hour or more?
Yeah.
Like, not gonna happen.
You know, it's one thing with like Ratatouille, which has a pretty like sad but ordinary number of riders per hour. But it's another thing when you have like this massive amount of people that supposedly like this ride can do better than the People Mover when it comes to capacity. But it's just like, I don't know. The more that they said how awesome this technology for this ride system was going to be, the more I thought like, wow, this is not going to work the way they think it will. And so do I think they'll get it working? Yes, I do. Do I think they'll get it working the way that they want it to? Absolutely not. I think that it's going to be, the system is not going to be what they wanted it to be when it opens, and probably never again afterwards. So, and I think even Dave in his video was saying that there is a fundamental problem with the ride vehicles, which is that they don't really do anything. They're basically like well, he didn't say this, but they're basically like shopping carts with people in it. They just roll around. So if you want to do something thrilling with the way that they move, you need to develop other technologies to do that. You know, the ride vehicles of the Indiana Jones Adventure, the enhanced motion vehicles, are able to deliver a simulation of movement through onboard hydraulic systems. Well, this attraction doesn't feature onboard hydraulic systems. So in order to get people this feeling of a thrill, they have to rely on these specialized lifts that they created that will act as an escape pod at the end of the attraction, which will drop you kind of like Tower of Terror style. And that will give you the physical thrill that people often look for on a ride. So I just feel like, you know, they were so obsessed with trying to make it thrilling in every single way, shape, and form, you know, satisfy everyone's sensations, all 5 of their sensations, you know. Yeah.
Can I add on to the, can I add on to that?
Yeah.
Maybe make the ride just a little bit faster, maybe around half the speed that Indiana Jones, like
14 miles per hour.
So maybe install that they have for the enhanced motion vehicles, or EMS, and that way make it fast, and then that way you actually, and throughout the ride, the hydraulics make you go all kinds of ways. And because of the speed of it, if it does have speed, then it makes you actually feel like you're getting thrown around, kind of like on Indiana Jones in a way.
See, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say that these vehicles should have had an onboard enhanced motion on it. So that way it could, you know, it could feel more thrilling, you know, with the added motion.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well when I was watching the video that Dave made. I was thinking that, that's so weird. I was thinking the enhanced motion vehicles as well. But I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, they totally could have made those types of ride vehicles for this attraction, but I don't really know if I don't know. I guess my one drawback with that is that it wouldn't be, in my opinion, it wouldn't be thematically. I don't know how they would theme it to make it fit into the context of being on a huge Star Destroyer, because you're not like riding around in like a Jeep. I mean, obviously they can theme it to something other than the Jeep, but I don't know. That's just my opinion on that. But
maybe it's one of those floating speeders, and because it's floaty, it kind of bounces around.
Yeah, I mean that could work. That could work.
The star speeders when they're floating around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what's that one that Luke Skywalker had? He had that sand speeder, right? Yeah.
Whatever that was, the platform that he stands on, like when he's using the Force on the star speeder and standing on that little floating platform to try and find the spy.
What movie are you watching? Oh, you mean Star Tours? I was like, what Star Wars movie did you watch?
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
I was like, man, I need to rewatch the Star Wars movies again.
I forgot to say it was from Star Tours.
But
okay, I want to make one last point before we hand over the microphone to Eric, which is that I feel like at the moment, with the current technology we have for trackless ride systems, at the moment there's no difference between a trackless versus with a track, because you're still going on a predetermined route. So, you know, just because you don't see a slit in the floor where the guideway system, you know, goes, doesn't mean that your vehicle is going in unpredictable routes throughout the attraction. You know that, you know, pretty much you're going either one or two routes in the ride, A or B. You know, you watch any ride like Ratatouille or the Winnie the Pooh attraction at I want to say Tokyo.
It's
Anyway,
Tokyo.
yeah, the trackless systems, they always go either left or right, but either way, you're going down a predetermined route. And I think, if anything, a trackless ride vehicle is a hindrance to the experience because how quickly or not how quickly, but how frequently it breaks down because of just technical difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
Also, how expensive it is, as well as how you're so limited on the physical thrills that you can have. So I just feel like when Disney announces, "Oh, we have a new trackless ride," I'm thinking, "Oh, great! You couldn't do anything better."
But yeah, Eric, what are your thoughts on what is this topic? Eric, what are your thoughts on Rise of the Resistance being behind schedule?
Personally, I think that they're just ironing out the kinks with it, maybe, because why else would they be fixing this so behind? I don't know how behind schedule it is, but if you think about it, this is the same thing that happened during Disneyland's construction. I mean, they weren't ready for opening, obviously, but look at how well it did. About it, they're probably behind schedule just because they don't know how this is going to work out in such an area like Star Wars Land, because this is something that, you know, I don't know how long ago they started introducing, what are they, trackless rides. I mean, there's a fair point to be made here with Alex, because he said that obviously there is a predetermined route, but maybe figure out what this ride is going to be like. I mean, for example, my cartoon that I'm currently working on, that one, I don't know what the mid part of my series is going to look like, and yet I know what the ending is going to look like. They know what it's going to be, but they haven't planned it out yet. And maybe they're still working on trying to get the trackless technology right for something like this, because I'm looking at the concept art and it shows, what are those two robot-looking things? I don't know.
AT-AT walkers. AT-AT walkers.
Yeah.
Walkers. The maneuver these ride vehicles through tight spaces, and I feel like some parts of the ride are a little too close together to the ride vehicles. What I was thinking was maybe like you guys know the Tower of Terror in Walt Disney World, right?
Yeah.
Well, I watched a behind the scenes video of it, and they said that there's a microscopic thread in the fifth dimension scene where the elevator starts moving. Maybe they could do something like that, where they would have like a microscopic, like a string or something that a sensor could pick up on the bottom of the ride vehicles, and through different instructions, it would maybe tell the ride vehicle to do something, like turn to the left or turn to the right, or do this or do that, something like that.
Yeah.
Something.
Well, they do sort of have that. So like what the trackless ride systems use is they use RFID chips that are embedded in the floor at certain areas, kind of like on a stage when they do a stage show. They put little tiny X's made of tape on the stage floor, so that way, even though the actors can walk anywhere on the stage they want, at certain points in the show they have to stand on those tape markers in order to finish the scene in certain areas. So basically, like let's just say, for the sake of it, like every 50 feet or so, the ride vehicle has to run over one of those chips in the floor in order to receive any information that was like programmed during the last update of the attraction. So if they decided, one day they're like, oh, we like that this vehicle travels, left, but let's just say we want it to go right from now on. They can reprogram that, but every time the ride vehicle goes over it, it reads from the chip, and then it performs what it needs to do. I don't know how I'm trying to say that, but anyway, it sort of does that already. I think the only problem is just that the system itself can, especially with how many ride vehicles this attraction is designed to handle, is overwhelming even for the programming of the computers that they are doing right now.
So maybe they're ironing out the kinks with this kind of technology because they're just out these trackless rides like 2012.
I'm not sure actually.
Well, technically, the first trackless ride was Walt Disney World's Tower of Terror. So whenever they invented that, that's how long they've had trackless rides.
Oh, maybe they're still trying to perfect this technology on an even larger scale with Rise of the Resistance, because maybe they've done it on a small scale, such as at the Winnie the Pooh ride, Ratatouille, or Tower of Terror, but now they're doing something in this massive show building that I saw being constructed, and so maybe they're trying to figure out how to make it work in a large building for multiple ride vehicles that could traveling through it at one point. It's kind of like the Matterhorn. I mean, there's dozens of cars on that track on both sides at one point, and so maybe they're trying to do that same thing, but with computers, and program each one to do that the one in front of it is doing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, there's a lot of vehicles, and they're still, even after all these years, they're still ironing out the kinks whenever they come up with a new way of presenting the ride vehicle.
Yeah.
Well, we do have T-Will in the waiting room saying he'd like to add something. Good old T-Will always has some very great points that he always adds to our. I don't know what I'm trying to say. We're gonna move in T-Will from the waiting room. He said like I said, I don't know what I'm saying. We're gonna move in T-Will, and
just do it already.
Hello, T-Will. Welcome back.
Sorry for my voice. Feeling a little scratchy tonight.
No worries.
It's not really good when you're a singer. Anyway, the coming in clear, coming in good.
Yeah, perfect.
All right.
So clear.
Actually, not the killing type. I think it was 03 when Pooh came out. That's the first proper trackless ride system. But anyway, on that note, I posted it on here, and Swedish Eskimos kind of talking about this. The main issue with Rise of the Resistance from insiders from my reputable source, WDW Magic, they've been pretty much saying that it's really an issue with them using a Wi-Fi system for this. So that's kind of wireless communication. So
stupid Wi-Fi.
I mean, have you seen Disney Wi-Fi?
Oh, it's awful.
Exactly.
It's garbage.
It's almost as bad as their apps.
I mean,
if
you think about it, the Wi-Fi for something is only good when you're using their stuff. Like, for example, at the school that I go to, the garbage for my phone, but it's not when I'm using their computers.
Well, apparently it's not really working well for their systems as well, because I posted it onto the chat. An insider pretty much said that if a ride vehicle goes more than 300 milliseconds, it will lose a connection for more than 300 milliseconds. So I'm not entirely sure why that happens. Maybe poor connection and so forth. But pretty much after that point, they pretty much just go, all right, we don't know where it is, shut down. So so it must be kind of a software issue. That's the main thing. And and they're dismantling the vehicles to try and figure out what is going on. That's been the reported cause of the delay. But even then, I've been hearing stuff of some stuff's ahead of schedule and so forth. So they thought maybe we could kind of jump in and do this. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Point is, Galaxy's Edge is coming. That's the overall point.
Yeah.
That's kind of coming up.
Bottom line.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that this is, like you were saying, Eric. This is something that seems. This seems to me that they're gonna get this. They're gonna get this cleaned up. I mean, maybe not super cleanly. I mean, it doesn't seem as supreme of an issue as we made it out to be initially. I could be wrong. But that's generally what's going on, and yeah, I mean, it's pretty much it. I mean, I guess I could voice my my opinion on the future of other Star Wars attractions, but that's isn't that the next subject?
Yeah, that's the next one.
Okay. Should I stay on? Should I go? Should I stay? I don't know.
Should I stay or should I go now?
I was just thinking that, Alex.
We'll move you back in once we move on to Star Tours, because we still have a little bit more to talk about in regards to Galaxy's Edge. But thank you again, Mr. T. Will. Always has. I don't read WDW Magic. It's nice to have someone watching us who does and who can provide us with the information from that website. So yeah, thank you, T. Will. We will be hearing from you again here very shortly.
Yeah,
I have one more thing to say about the so you know how T. Will and all these other people, I don't want to discount them, are saying that the vehicles will lose connection the ride will shut down if the vehicles lose connection for more than 300 milliseconds. That's a very similar issue to what always happens on the Indiana Jones Adventure at Disneyland. I was talking to one of the maintenance guys who actually works at the Indiana Jones Adventure, and he told me how the whole ride system works. I'm not going to bore you guys with how it works, because you can watch my episode of it either on my channel or my future episode on it on my channel. Anyway, so basically the Indiana Jones Adventure breaks down quite frequently for two reasons. One is either people take too long to get on or off the ride vehicle at the loading area. That's a whole separate issue that every ride faces. Or it could be that because each of the 16 enhanced motion vehicles has an onboard computer that allows them to somewhat think independently of each other. That means one ride vehicle can, let's say, go through the bug room at, let's say, 14 miles per hour and give its people this scary experience, while the one behind it might go through at, let's say, 6 miles per hour. So each ride vehicle can deliver a separate experience, somewhat pre-programmed, but also somewhat random. And each vehicle has to maintain a certain distance from each other in order to prevent, safety hazards, obviously. Mm-hmm. But anyway, all of those ride vehicles, which have their own onboard computer, are all connected to the main computer of the attraction at the main computer room, whatever it's called. And the funny thing is that sometimes one of those ride vehicles will lose connection with the main computer. And if that happens, the main computer, basically to anthropomorphize it freaks out.
Oh.
It explodes. No.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
The computer freaks out, basically, and just shuts down the whole ride until it can establish a connection with the next vehicle, or it may just decide the ride needs to be reset. So that ride breaks down quite often for that reason. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting.
It seems like Disney has been having problems with ride vehicles and computers, because this is the same issue that the test track system had, like when they implemented it at Rocket Rods early. you know, and then when they were developing it, and then when they were developing Test Track proper, pretty much the whole system was on fire, and they couldn't get it running properly, so they had to rewrite the entire program. So it's just they outsourced it, and then they had to pretty much rebuild it from scratch. I think that's why it ended up being, reportedly costing $300 million for that entire ride.
You know what? Disney, stop building ride vehicles with their own computer board because it's not working. Okay, it's
working in Tokyo. It's working in Hong Kong. It's like, just send it to Asia, and then somehow it just works. Or at the very least, we're not hearing as many problems with it.
Look at Tokyo. They're 100 years of technology ahead of most of the world.
You know what? I just, at this point, I just want Oriental Land Company to handle all the Disney parks, because at this point,
to be honest,
it's just, I'm slightly joking, but when you hear something that good, it's like, damn. Why can't we just have them run our park?
All right. Well, thank you again, T. Will.
Yeah. All right.
We will hear from you again very shortly. All right.
Hopefully with a better voice.
All right. It's always nice to have T. Will. He always says, like I said, I don't read WDW Magic, or I think that's the forums he says. I don't read those. So it's nice to have someone who does, who can chime in like that in the chat or here with us live. But let's see. We do have a little bit more stuff to get to from a Fresh Baked's video, which, like I said, is linked in the description down below. Let's see. Dave talks about how Olga's Cantina can hold around 100 guests, and I guess one of the main problems being only a dozen or so bar stools and booths are available in the cantina itself. So most people will have to stand inside the restaurant. Yeah, it's probably gonna be all stinky with sweaty people, and like we said a few weeks ago, Olga's Cantina does serve alcohol, but you cannot take your alcoholic beverages out of the cantina. You have to drink them inside. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how how many people will be trying to camp out for the I don't know, to try and catch a booth when someone leaves, because people are not gonna want to stand around, I guess, like shoulder to shoulder with a bunch of other drunk people trying to enjoy their what was the name of that one weird drink from, I don't remember, the nub nub.
Moof juice.
Oh, moof juice too.
Oh yeah, the yub nub.
The
yeah.
yub nub. You guys know people are not going to be wanting to be in a crowded area when they're trying to enjoy their yub nub, you guys.
We have a separate room just for the for the alcoholic stuff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah.
Keep
and
all
then
those
bar the
people
doors
in
so
there.
that they can doors so that they can and then bar the doors to keep all the drunk weirdos in there.
I mean,
You know
I'd
what,
be fine with
actually,
that.
Eric said exactly what I was thinking, so
You're welcome.
thanks.
But yeah, that was another topic Dave touched on in his video, so I guess keep that in mind until we hear any other information regarding Olga's Cantina.
Still not happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is what it is. I don't know. I guess I'll be trying some of the alcoholic beverages since I'll be 21 when I eventually do go to Galaxy's Edge, hopefully with Alex and Chris. So I'll
Shut the
keep
fridge.
So I'll keep you guys updated on that. Let's see. Dave also touches on how the new parking structure that they're building will not be ready for the May 31st opening of Galaxy's Edge. Yeah. Big no. That was, I think we touched on that either last week or 2 weeks ago, because that was one of the things I think it was 2 weeks ago, because that was one of the things I was wondering, since this whole parking structure is meant to come up for Galaxy's Edge to prepare for all the massive crowds that are going to head down to Disneyland. it won't be ready for the May 31st opening, according to Dave's sources. I don't really know where he gets his sources from, so hopefully they're reliable. So yeah, I'd love to hear your I mean, I do, but I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the chat, in the comments about the parking structure. But let's see. Dave then goes on to say that Galaxy's Edge is opening as a sort of 3-week, quote-unquote, early access or sneak preview to the land, since you have to make reservations to visit the park anytime between May 31st and June 23rd. I did get an email, I believe it was from like Disney Destinations or something, saying that you only need a reservation to get into the land between the dates May 31st and June 23rd, and after that you will not need a reservation after June 23rd. So yeah, I guess that's sort of what they're going for. This is not meant to be full-fledged Galaxy's Edge. It's just supposed to be a sneak preview, early access, like I said. So I guess that makes it fine that Rise of the Resistance isn't ready. Or I guess that, I guess Dave goes on to say that Rise of the Resistance, I'm going to quote Dave. Oh my gosh. He says, quote, Rise of the Resistance isn't late. The rest of Galaxy's Edge is early, unquote. And I feel like that's a really good way of putting that, because like I said earlier, Dave does mention that originally, I guess, Disney was supposed to be opening the whole land, I believe in June or July. Yes.
But I have something to counter that.
Ooh. Do tell.
Okay, so what Dave said, that quote that he said, that Rise of the Resistance isn't late, Galaxy's Edge is early. That's what Disney wants you to believe. You see,
yeah.
You see, the way I see it, Galaxy's Edge is opening early because Rise of the Resistance is going to be late.
Mind is exploding right now.
And they probably need more funding to repair and fix the issues with Rise of the Resistance. So they need to start earning Galaxy's Edge money as soon as possible. That's why I think they're opening so early.
That is a very good point, Alex, the historian. I would, a lot of people on our channel make sort of a meme out of Fresh Baked. I like I said, I love Fresh Baked. I think they're a great channel. Like I said, they introduced me to a lot of Disney, to Disneyland, basically. I'd really love... Sarah. Yeah, I miss Sarah too. I wish she'd come back. But I would love to see, maybe sometime in the future, Dave and Alex going head-to-head in sort of like a debate on the podcast. I feel like that would be a very interesting... Yeah, fight. Alex can get his boxing gloves from his old boxing days in high school.
No, not that. I'm just saying, like, debating something. I don't know. Disney debate.
I don't know. Judging by my last conversation with him, I'm gonna want to do that.
Well, we will see. I don't know. I feel like that'd be sort of fun for the viewers, and I'd love to see that as well. But so, Dave, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the show, have you debate with Alex about, I don't know, Galaxy's Edge or something. But excuse me.
Excused.
Thank you. Thank you. Where was I? The Rise of the Resistance isn't late. The rest of Galaxy's Edge is early. So I guess take with that what you will. I think I got that saying correct this time. I guess the main question is whether or not Rise of the Resistance will be open on June 24th after you don't need a reservation to get into the park anymore. I guess only time will tell.
It's going to be Disneyland's opening day all over again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very interested to see.
I mean, think about it. 64 years later, the same thing happens over again. It's like Costa Concordia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Boat that ran aground in Italy. Well, think about it. It took place 100 years after the Titanic went down. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I watched the video on that.
So think about it. The universe is trying to make things happen again for some unknown spiritual reason, whatever it is, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because of this, it's a Disneyland staple. I mean, think about it. Disneyland wasn't ready for its opening day. Now Galaxy's Edge, 65 years later, isn't ready.
Yeah, as they say, life finds a way. Oh wait, that's the wrong movie.
What reference is that?
I think the right reference. Don't tell me the odds.
Oh.
Oh no way, I remember that.
Yeah.
Never tell me the odds. Oh wait, what was it? There was this game that I'm playing right now. It goes like this. Like a computer is talking to the hero and he says, "Your odds of defeating me are 3,117 to 1. Never tell me the odds."
Let's see. Well, I guess Dave does go on to mention sort of like Eric said, he gives examples of other attractions that weren't necessarily ready when the land opens. He gives an example like Haunted Mansion was not ready when New Orleans Square opened. He goes on to say Radiator Springs Racers had constant breakdowns for the first year of its opening. So I believe he goes on to say that this sort of thing has become a Disney parks staple, or at least a Disneyland staple, opening a land when the ride is still not finished, or opening a land without a major attraction. So I guess keep that in mind. And like Eric said, Disneyland was not nearly completed when it first opened, so...
Not really. Can I add something to what you're saying here?
Yeah.
I know Alex knows about this, but have you heard of a game called Roller Coaster Tycoon 3?
Yes, I have.
And it's been what is it, like 10, no, it's been 17 years since that game came out, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I recently opened up the western side of Disneyland. You can find it on my channel, and the park was complete on opening day when I opened it in June of last year, but however, there were some rides that were missing. Like, for example, Pirates of the Caribbean wasn't there. The only attractions that you could find in my park on opening day were the Mark Twain, Disneyland Railroad, Splash Mountain, Haunted Mansion, the rafts to Tom Sawyer's Island. What was that last one? Oh, and Winnie the Pooh. Those were the only ones that were there. But now I have those 6 attractions, and I have increased capacity for Mark Twain Riverboat. I have Big Thunder Mountain, a Big Thunder themed drop ride, and Pirates of the Caribbean.
I have no idea how he built that thing. Like, that is so cool. I've seen this park
in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3.
Yeah.
Huh. I've never played the third one. I played the second one, but yeah, guys, link to Eric's channel, like I said, is in the description below.
I hear the second one was a failure, but people are fascinated by my park, and believe me, it is crazy the way that I built it. I don't even remember building it anymore. Oh, I remember this guy, T. Will. He says RCT3 was released in 2004. So let's see. So it's 2019 now. Let's see. 967 minus...
15 years, isn't it?
It's 15 years.
I don't know how I counted into the 20s. Continue. I'm sorry. I was trying to count on my fingers, but...
Oh my gosh, Matt.
I hate math, to be honest. And doing math right now while I'm on spring break, just no. I'm supposed to be spending time by the swimming pool and not in school.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was saying, there's certain things that happen at theme parks, like certain things aren't there, but they're probably just ironing out the kinks or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, time will tell. We'll see. Maybe Alex, when you and Chris visit Galaxy's Edge on opening day, maybe you can prop Chris, help him hop the fence for Rise of the Resistance. I don't know, help him sneak in through a back
the
alley
fence.
somewhere. Maybe he can take some pictures of the inside of Rise of the Resistance. I don't know. We'll see how that all plays out. But I'm sure I'd be small enough to fit through the little cracks in the in the land to get into Rise of the Resistance. So we'll see. I'll bring
Alex
updates
already
to you
looks
guys
like a
then.
reporter, so
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the fedora,
His
he's got
fedora,
the
yeah.
clothes, he's perfect.
Alex needs to get a press pass so he can
Oh, I know.
Son
yeah.
with me because he really wanted to see it, and his mom's not home.
What?
Maybe okay, never mind. That was stupid.
But yeah, that's all we have for Rise of the Resistance. We'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that in the chat, in the comments as well down below. And like I said, I'll link Dave's Fresh Bakes original video in the description as well for you guys to sort of watch that. We're going to be moving on to our last main topic, a video by DSMY Newscast talking about the future of Star Tours. I know we've talked about the future of Star Tours in the past on this podcast, but I'd love to sort of touch on it a little bit more now that new information has been released, at least regarding the I guess regarding both Star Tours. And I'm getting a call. My cousin is calling me. Anyways. But yeah, so DSMY Newscast's video will be linked in the description below. Basically what he says is that Disney says that there are no immediate plans to remove Star Tours in Disneyland or in Hollywood studios. He says the current thinking is that, quote, Star Tours is an intergalactic touring company that was made specifically for a theme park, while when you enter Galaxy's Edge, you enter the planet Batuu, about to enter the Black Spire Outpost, so it's more, it's almost completely different. Yeah, it's almost completely different when it comes to theming that way. Same goes for the launch. Yes.
What if there's like one single what is it like what if there's one Star Speeder that actually leaves the Star Tours building and actually goes to Star Wars Land? Like here's the thing. So at the end, I don't know if this happened for you, but every single time I go on Star Tours, I get the arriving at Star Wars Land ending, and I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if you actually did go there? So I thought the Star Speeder that plays the arriving at Star Wars Land video what if they programmed it to do that every time, but in reality, going there around the park all the way to Galaxy's Edge.
Oh yeah, kind of like the what do they call that? Hogwarts Express at Universal
like that.
Orlando.
I've never ridden it, but it's cool. But that kind of idea, but gave it to Star Tours, and if you're on that lucky Star Speeder, then you actually go to Galaxy's Edge and you arrive there. Because whenever I'm there, I think because whenever I'm riding Star Tours and I get that ending, I think, man, wouldn't it be cool if we were actually there instead of having to walk all the way there? And then when I exit out of the Star Speeder, I'm like, oh, I'm not there. I wasn't dreaming.
Yeah, I think Alex and I touched on that a long time ago when we talked about Star Tours.
Beat me to it.
Yeah, I think we said that it would be great for them to do that in Hollywood studios, since Star Tours is like really close to the entrance of Galaxy's Edge. I mean, they totally could do that. That'd be really awesome if they found a way to I don't know, reroute the exit for Star Tours into Galaxy's Edge. It'd be a completely different story for Disneyland, though. But where was I? DSMY Newscast.
DSMY Newscast.
Yeah, DSMI Newscast goes on to say that the same goes for the launch bay and the Star Wars shows that happen in Hollywood studios. He says they're going to stay for the immediate future as well. Sadly, he doesn't say whether or not the launch bay will be staying in Disneyland. I'm guessing it won't. But then
and
again,
where are you going to put Chewie?
That's a good point. I don't know if Chewie's gonna have a meet and greet in Galaxy's Edge. I don't know.
Well, where else would you stick the fluffy little guy? Would you? I mean, you wouldn't stick him on Main Street. I don't think so.
I mean, that would be
about it,
really
you're
neat to
walking
see him
down-
in Main Street.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You're walking down a mid-century town, and then you see an alien walking right in front of you, and you're like, "What the heck is he doing here?"
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have a meet and greet for Chewie, so I guess that does make a good point. I don't know if they'll have a meet and greet for Kylo Ren either. I don't know. It's just, yeah, I don't know. But, I guess one of the good things about Star Tours being open in both Hollywood studios and in Disneyland, is that it gives the lands extra ride capacity for when Galaxy's Edge opens, and when all the crowds flood in to the parks, they'll have another ride to occupy themselves, so they're not standing in the lines to get into the park or into the land itself. But let's see. T-Will says, I'm kind of glad Star Tours is staying around. I still think Launch Bay should be removed. While I understand the decision for capacity reasons, it's a waste of space in both Disneyland and Disney's Hollywood studios. Yes.
I think they should put maybe like a redesigned version of either like the Adventure Through Inner Space, but with a different like a one guy, like a different narrator, because I don't know about you, because what's his name? Trying to
Paul
remember what his-
Frees?
No offense, but the way that he narrates space is kind of creepy in my opinion. Just hearing his voice, the educational kind of ride, just doesn't make me feel good for some reason. I mean,
it's supposed
How
to
about
be
you?
freaky though. It's supposed to be. Well, the original Adventures Through Inner Space was supposed to be a little bit of a scary experience, like you were shrinking beyond your own control.
how can I possibly survive? And I liked it. I mean, I like the idea behind Adventures Through Inner Space. I mean, you're learning about the world around you. No matter what you think is solid, in reality, it's just empty space. But a different narrator, maybe one that can still deliver the same package, just in a different format.
Yeah.
Like, there's this Eagle. I got nothing. I don't know. I can't think of any good narrators off the top of my head besides Alex.
Oh,
Ooh,
hey.
that's a good idea.
We should get
I
Alex,
could
yeah.
narrate a new version of Adventure. Magnification.
Perfect. Need right now to tell him that.
Oh my gosh. That was the single greatest thing I've ever heard. I'm not even joking, you guys.
See, I told you Alex is a legend.
Thank you, Alex, for that.
Whenever I recite that line, it sounds much better in the bath.
Yeah, I don't
Because of the echo.
Oh,
Because of the
okay.
echo.
Okay. That makes much more sense.
Oh my god, I'm gonna be quiet now.
Thank you to Alex. Well, you don't get to be quiet because I'm about to ask you, what are your thoughts on keeping Star Tours around for the immediate future when Galaxy's Edge opens?
Excuse me for just 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem.
Just give me 2 seconds. Be right back.
Okay. I'll be counting. Anyway, so Star Tours. It makes perfect sense to keep it open, at least for the remainder of the year, if not a full 365 days from the official opening of Galaxy's Edge in June, as opposed to the early opening. But yeah, it makes sense to keep it open. I just hope that it's not one of those things that sticks around for several years, just because they can't think of anything else to do with it. I mean, in my opinion, Star Tours has reached the end of its usefulness, not youthfulness, that too, youthfulness, but usefulness in the sense that, Star Tours focuses on now the stuff from the planets and storylines from the prequel trilogies, and it's mixed in with a little bit of stuff from the original trilogies as well as the new trilogies. It's just weird. So and a lot of people still think that they should move it to Galaxy's Edge, which other people like me have to say that next to the Millennium Falcon ride, it just does not hold a candle to it. So it just doesn't make sense to move it there. Honestly, I think hopefully a year after Galaxy's Edge opens and they have all their financials look really great after a fiscal year, I think they should close Star Tours and start retheming it as part of a phase by phase redo of Tomorrowland. So yeah.
Yes, I agree, Alex. I haven't been on Star Tours in a while. I don't think I went. Did I? I don't think I went the last time I was in the parks. So, I mean, it's a great ride and all. I will be sad to see it go when it does eventually go. If it does eventually go, they could keep it around for the next 1,000 years, for all we know.
No.
I mean, but yeah, is Eric back?
Okay, here I am.
Okay. Well, now, Eric, what are your thoughts on Disney keeping Star Tours in Disneyland and Hollywood Studios for the immediate future?
Okay, first of all, did I miss anything?
No.
Okay. Tours. Man, I never thought I could ask this question before, but do you think that it could have a spot in Star Wars Land? The only problem is that I don't know where to put it, because the Resistance and what's the other one, like Smuggler's Run?
Yeah.
What I was wondering is they said something about a expansion, a possible expansion for Star Wars Land. Is that true or no?
Well, there's no official plans on the table as to what the expansion could be if they do decide to do one, but there is room to expand Galaxy's Edge at least by another attraction.
And I think maybe like an advanced version of Star Tours could go on there, maybe? I don't know, because people love Star Tours, and maybe like make it kind of like a with maybe different scenes or something like that. I don't know, because if Star Tours belongs in Tomorrowland anymore. I mean, with Star Wars Land coming, I don't know where it could go. I mean, other than Star Wars Land itself, or just nowhere at all.
Yeah, I think they should consolidate all Star Wars stuff into Galaxy's Edge and leave it away from Disneyland.
Take your stuff and get away from me. Because state of Tomorrowland, and we all know that Tomorrowland does need some help, if you know what I mean. But
yep.
If you think about it, I feel like thing that's based on one thing needs to be in its own separate area. Like how me and Alex were talking that should be moved over to where the submarines are and take Finding Nemo and put it in Pixar Pier. It doesn't make any sense now that Pixar Pier is over in California Adventure and Ariel is over in California Adventure. So it's the same thing with Star Tours and Star Wars Land. If we move everything into into the same area, then it all makes sense, because it doesn't make sense if one ride based on something is in a completely different land and yet it's trying to be at the same time. It's I do think that there could be some room for Star Tours to Galaxy's Edge, but maybe like an updated version, and then with the launch bay gone and with Star Tours gone, I feel like they could find some use for the space in Tomorrowland for 2 new rides, maybe just 1, but maybe 2. It looks like there could be room for 2 if they know what to do with it. If you ask me, I think that Disney should honor their past by building maybe like a...
By what?
Go ahead.
Oh, you cut out. You said Disney should honor the past by
reimagining some of their rides that are really loved, like the People Mover. There's like the People Mover Adventure Through Inner Space and the Carousel of Progress.
Yep.
Maybe have a modern touch on an old favorite, like models. Have you seen my models before, Matt?
No, are they on your channel?
Yeah, they're on my channel. They're actually quite fascinating. I'm actually going to be showing them off at a autism fair soon if they get back to me.
Oh, okay.
Models for over 10 years. And my first one I threw out the window into a garbage can. And my most recent replica, well, it's not recent, it's old, but I redid it. It's my model of Big Ben. You know that big clock tower in London?
Mm-hmm.
Replica of it, and it's gonna be 6 years old this year. And
it's really cool. It's made of paper.
Really?
Yeah. It looks really detailed. I gotta throw that in there. Really cool.
Oh, why? Thank you. So I looked at videos of the real one over in London, which I really want to see, and I don't want to just look at it. I want to go inside, but the only problem is you need to be a resident of the UK in order to do that. So I thought to myself, is it possible to make my replica of Big Ben actually tell the time like its real life counterpart? Thought about it for a good 3 days while I was lying awake in my bed sleeping, and I thought that it would be possible, and that it would be nice to give my model a touch-up. And so, talked to my neighbor, the guy who has the dog that jumped on me, and renovating my model of Big Ben, and I completely renovated it. I took it all apart and I put it all back together, and I redid the clock faces and the roof. And my neighbor, who's a genius, did the wiring for the clock faces, and now my neighbor, my paper replica of Big Ben actually tells the time like a real clock tower.
Really?
So what you're saying is you were asleep awake for 3 days in your bed straight?
No, I was laying there in my bed awake at night thinking about what I could do with this model, because I built it in 2013 and my models are getting better, like my models of Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella's Castle. I have Splash Mountain. I'm trying to modern spin on an old replica. It's kind of like the People Mover, how they well, I wouldn't say that, but like how the castle is being renovated right now at Disneyland, how they're into an old favorite, and it'll look even better once it's finished. Because me and Alex looked at it and saw the new paintwork that is going on. Isn't that right?
Yep.
And so I think. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I have to get to cooking dinner soon. So.
Okay.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Alex has to leave, you guys. Okay. Well, I guess that wraps up the second topic. We've gone over this, like I said, in a couple episodes ago. So I guess most of you guys already know our stance on what we think of Star Tours and the future of Star Tours, but we'd love to hear what you guys think. I don't know how, but somehow this podcast has almost reached 2 hours. I didn't think it would reach that long, to be completely honest with you guys, because there was such little news that happened this week. But I just remembered the other day when we got off the stream last week, I made a promise to my viewers the previous week that I would bring back Words with Walt, and I didn't. And I didn't do it today either because I forgot. Oh,
Matt, that's okay. We all know that you're full of empty promises.
I mean, it's true. I'm sorry, you guys.
Seriously, Alex?
I don't want to make another promise for next week, but the segment will come back. I promise eventually the segment will come back, whether or not it's next week or whether or not it's the week after that. I don't know, but it will come back. And yeah, I think we don't have any words, or we don't have any Matt hosts ghosts stories for this week. But if you guys would like to send in your spooky stories to the stream, you can do so by emailing them to me, ytmatterhornmatt@gmail.com, or you can DM a Google Doc to me through Twitter or through Discord. Link to my Discord server is in the description below. And let me see, I think that's it. I guess we can wrap up this week's episode. We hope you all enjoyed this episode of Matterhorn Mondays. Ooh.
That was impressive.
Thank you. Alex always makes fun of me
better than I can do.
So yeah, we'll let Alex get to cooking dinner. What are you gonna make us, Alex, for dinner?
We're gonna have pork.
Ooh, I can't wait to eat the pork that Alex is gonna cook, you guys. I'll let you
and
know
it's
how it is.
Not gonna be substituted with cabbage.
Well, that is a relief.
I heard some on a news article saying that Disneyland is a vegan's paradise.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. They got some really good. Actually, I did have at Red Rose Tavern. That was really good.
T-Will asks, what type of pork dish, Alex? I think we all, if you're gonna feed all 17 of us dinner, we should know what you're gonna be cooking.
16 now.
Well, if you must know, I'm warning you now that you asked. Okay, I'm going to be roasting pork butt.
Ooh, spooky.
You're cutting a pig's butt off and roasting it?
It's the juiciest part.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, thank you. I'm looking forward to trying some of your pig butt, Alex. I'll update all the viewers whether or not it's tasty or not. But yeah, thank you, Eric, again for joining us on this week's episode. Like I said, link to his channel will be down in the description below, along with Alex's channel. Alex recently
Down
put
there,
out.
people.
Alex
Well,
recently
it was
put
an
out
honor to be here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, thank you.
Yeah, of course. We'll probably have you on again in the future
Bye.
sometime.
And by the way, did I mess up the intro earlier because I said Handy a little too early?
No, it's fine.
Sorry, you called me? No, Eric, no, Handy, I didn't call you. Come on, I thought you wanted to be friends with me. I am friends with you, but I don't need you right now. Come on, go away. Ow. He likes to get it. Handy likes to interrupt me.
That Handy. What was
I
that?
heard that. Handy, quit eavesdropping.
But yeah.
So, thank you for having me here. This is the first podcast that I've ever been a part of, and I'm having it with two legends right now.
Oh wow, I'm a legend. Thank you.
Did you guys hear that? He said that I'm 2 legends.
Oh my god.
I meant both of you are legends.
Alex beamed me, you guys. Oh my gosh. Well,
we have fun here.
Yeah. If you guys couldn't tell, this episode was a lot of fun. We hope you guys watching had fun as well, but sadly, like I said, it is that time for us to sign off. We will be back next week. I'm gonna try and set up a podcast with Alex Jeremy. I don't want to spoil it. Never mind. Because if it doesn't happen, I don't want to get your guys' hopes up and then it not happen. But
the idea is to surprise them.
Yeah, I'll try and surprise everybody. But it's gonna be if it does end up working out, it's gonna be a heck of an episode, if I do say so myself. But anyways, thank you all for coming today for Matterhorn Mondays. We hope you all enjoyed this episode, and like I said, Alex's and Eric's channel will be in the description down below. Be sure to go subscribe to both of them. Let's see, what else? I think that's it. Yeah, we hope you all have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.